Today I'm going to be busting some of the myths about Sanskrit language that are prevalent in Twitter. In the social media days, misinformation is in a whole next level. Sanskrit being a subject of concern for this channel, I'm going to react and comment on some of the selective tweets. I'm not going to quote them, but present a version of them to correct the misinformation. Let's get started. Satyamidam va mithya. Sanskrit is used in NASA and is perfect language for computers because it has free word order and programmable grammar. Algorithms are written in Sanskrit, not in English. Before going on to this tweet, I wonder why people even need a Western stamp for learning Sanskrit when there are plenty of good reasons to learn Sanskrit. Whether it is to explore your culture, diving into the ocean of literature of uncomparable prose and poetry, improving your speech, understanding Eastern philosophies, exploring the unimaginably rigid and Sanskrit grammar, or just as a go-to ancient/reviving language. But if you're learning Sanskrit hoping that NASA is going to offer you a job, please don't. And if you really want to learn Sanskrit, check out Paul's pinned tweet, link it in the description, #notsponsored. Now let's get back to the tweet. Most of the part of it is nonsense. Sanskrit is not even cared about in NASA and is the most imperfect language for computers. In fact, Sanskrit is the most human-friendly language I've ever learned. Now, provided that we do not have artificial intelligence in a level such that it totally behaves like a human, Sanskrit is not going to be easily understood by computers, disregarding the fact that Sanskrit is oversimplified in the last couple of decades. But it does not mean that the grammar of Sanskrit is not computer-friendly. Sanskrit grammar is prescriptive grammar, which is programmable in nature. Panini's grammar is written as if commands are being fed to a computer. To express something in Sanskrit, the metaphorical pointer should run to the sutras of Panini that makes Sanskrit grammar immensely scientific and logical. Now, the reasoning that is given in this tweet is free word order, but the thing is, even Nepali has free word order. Any language that has all the 8 cases is going to have free word order for the most part. I accept that in Sanskrit, the word order is less significant than in other languages. But in the same time, many sentences carry a sense in Sanskrit that is conveyed by the word order. For instance, Asti Kashchit Vagvishesha will denote an interrogation, but Kashchit Vagvishesha Asti will denote a declaration. Also, the algorithms are not something that has to be language-specific to convey the instructions to solve a problem. The algorithms prepared should be intelligible for the general people so that they can understand without any computer-specific knowledge how to solve or approach a solution to a problem. And the fact that algorithms are written or has to be written in Sanskrit is jnana paridher bahishtam. Most of the times, these myths are often political, which is more pity to think about in the time that Sanskrit scholars are not even cared about. Many internal issues relating the revival of Sanskrit are unsolved. Anti-Sanskrit moments are there in the rise. These people are more concerned about flying Pushpaka Vimanas and proving that the Shivalinga is an ancient nuclear reactor or something. The Rig Veda does not mention caste in its original books, and it first appears in the Purusha Shukta verse, which is later interpolation. All Manusmriti and Puranas are interpolated. I like how people rush to declare a scripture interpolated when something that is morally wrong as per modern times or against their will or opinion is seen in the text. The truth is, anything can of course be interpolated. There are exceptions in oral tradition, but if something is extracted from a written text, then logically lots of parthantas are going to exist. For instance, the text Chandra Sambhava Mahakavyam, written by Yajnasarma Suri Vairala in around 17th century, had tons and tons of mistakes. Most of them was due to extraction of faint text from the scripture originally written in a Bhojapatra. Later, it was proofread by Veni Madhava Dakala, a renowned Sanskrit scholar from Nepal. If we take the classical oral tradition into consideration, not talking about the pre-classical or Vedic one, some variations of the same shloka can be found. Of course, it is just the effect of the human nature that tends to forget stuffs. Due to this, a replacement of words fitting in the meter is very common, sometimes preserving the sense of the shloka and sometimes not. Same thing holds true for Anuvada. For instance, Gajendra and Ganendra in Munivrinda Ganendra Samana Yutam, or Karamule Sthita Gauri or Karamule to Govinda in the morning prayer. But one may argue that these are not really interpolations. Yeah, but the variations in the text are mostly caused by these rather than a politically motivated scholar changing the text of Manusmriti in their favor. Of course, there is no any statistical evidence to support or not support whether by which attitude the texts are interpolated, if they are. But it is not right to declare scriptures interpolated that may have some potentially problematic stuffs, of course, if faith is not taken into consideration. Simplified Sanskrit is a bastardized version of Sanskrit. It omits all the cultural context, and the Sanskrit that is spoken nowadays are just a reconstruction of the language and nothing else. I prefer to refer to simplified Sanskrit as a spoken Sanskrit. Although I'm strictly against the oversimplification of Sanskrit, omitting dual and other Sanskrit-specific language features, which are the souls of the language, but at the same time, I don't think that general public need to speak Sanskrit like the dialogues of Kalidasa's play. Remember, the dialogues in the play have aesthetics, alankara, rasa, and all those good stuffs that are out of the radius of IQ to instantly general sentences with these features. We do not speak English like Shakespeare. We do not say, "Full fathom 5, thy father lies," when in any hypothetical condition one's father is drowned. We exclaim and say, "Oh fuck, your father's drowned, freaking help him." This is it for today. Subscribe to the channel, follow my other social media for updates and stuff. Till then, sarve bhavantu.